I'm Tom, and on the weekend we saw Oleksandr Usyk absolutely obliterate Daniel Dubois, just like I predicted. So now the question arises, what next for Oleksandr Usyk? And there are a few options, but firstly, it should go without saying, Oleksandr Usyk survives in any era. And not just does he survive, he is one of the best, if not the best, in any era, and I really mean that. He survives in every... Firstly, he's already beaten the best of the best in the best cruiserweight era. He was the undisputed and the top dog in the best cruiserweight era we've ever seen. So cruiserweight, he hangs with anyone. He's the best in any division, any era rather. At heavyweight, he hangs with everyone. The modern day heavyweights are bigger than all the previous heavyweights. Old school heavyweights are today's cruiserweights. So let that, bear that in mind. Old school heavyweights are today's cruiserweights, and he's already beaten the best of the best at cruiserweight. He hangs and troubles every fighter ever. The only person that I think could maybe cause him some problems, and I wouldn't absolutely, I'd still favour Usyk, but I wouldn't absolutely favour Usyk, is Lennox Lewis. Everyone else, I think he beats quite handily. I'm sorry. So what next for Usyk? Well, the obvious choice is Joseph Parker. The WBO have now ordered Oleksandr Usyk to defend his belt against Joseph Parker, and they've given him, I believe, 30 days on which to come to an agreement with the teams and a split, and then that fight will then be happening next. However, he can obviously just vacate his belt, so that's not a guaranteed. And Riyadh Season, Sicelo Promotions have said that they're not looking for that. They're not going to back it. They're not going to fund it. So Riyadh Season will not be putting their money pot up for this fight, which means that we probably won't be seeing Usyk defend. He's already said he wants at least 3 or 4 months off, so he won't be fighting. Sorting that next. And does he really want to fight Parker like instantly? Probably not. So the question becomes, does Parker wait around and just keep stalling his career until Usyk decides he's ready? And if he does do that, what can he do differently? What can Joseph Parker do that we haven't already seen presented to Usyk? The power, Dubois, AJ. Difficulty in terms of size. Well, we've seen that with Fury. What about boxing ability? Firstly, all of the cruiserweights, but secondly, AJ. He can box. Tony Bell, there's nothing that he presents Usyk that Usyk hasn't already dealt with. And I actually think Joseph Parker's style perhaps troubles Usyk, but of all the options, it's probably the one that Usyk deals with a bit better. Not much of a power puncher, somebody who's going to try and put pressure on you but hasn't got the kind of punch power or ability to sort of back it up any more than someone like Dubois and someone that can't outbox you. It's going to be difficult. And do you know what it is? I actually don't think Joseph Parker thinks he has the ability to beat Oleksandr Usyk. I think Joseph Parker wants a warm-up fight before stepping in there against somebody of Usyk's caliber. Before he fights for that world title against Usyk, I think he wants a warm-up fight. So for that reason, I actually think Usyk will vacate the belt and we won't see it next. Tyson Fury, obviously that's somebody he said. Tyson Fury's been calling for that all the time. You've seen that Turkey Al-Sheik's come out saying that he wouldn't, he wants a trilogy. I don't think there's much appetite in the boxing world for that trilogy at all. And he's just lost to him back to back. He'll be going in there against a man who's just beaten him twice. No matter how much Fury says he won, that's going to have some demons on him. It's going to be playing on his mind. Can he really go in there and right what has gone wrong twice? I don't think so. I think that's a really bad move for Fury. I don't want to see the trilogy. It's a bad move for Usyk, other than the fact it makes his money. But ultimately, he's earned the right to make his money. I don't think we'll see that next. The next option is one that I actually would really like to see. Is Kabayel versus Usyk. I think Kabayel gives Usyk his hardest fight at heavyweight. I think the person who provides the biggest issues, the most problems to overcome at heavyweight is Ajit Kabayel. I think the way he works the body and his style, his speed, causes Usyk problems. Now, I would favour Usyk. Of course I would favour Usyk. But at his age, and we've seen weaknesses to the body, I don't believe that, but at his age and the way that Caballero works the body, I think the hardest fight for Usyk at heavyweight is Caballero. That's my opinion, and that is absolutely an option. Him and Parker have definitely earned it. Parker has absolutely earned the next title shot. Behind him, Caballero, and I wouldn't mind seeing Caballero versus Oleksandr Usyk. That would add serious depth to his heavyweight resume. We won't see that though. I don't think we need to. I'd favour Usyk. Usyk will win. Same sort of thing. What do you do differently against Usyk that you hasn't already seen? The next option is one that Turki Al-Sheikh put a tweet out almost instantly after saying that he wants to make, and that's Moses Atalma. Why? I think that's ridiculous. Moses Atalma is a great fighter and a fantastic prospect, and I've been waxing lyrical about him myself. He's phenomenal. And if he comes through Dillian Whyte and ices him inside 2 or 3 rounds, which I absolutely think he will, then you could make the argument. But a Dillian Whyte who's slow, losing his power and losing his ability, stepping in there against Atalma is kind of tailor-made. That is perfect matchmaking. And he is worlds apart, light years apart from Oleksandr Usyk. Because he ices Dillian Whyte doesn't then mean he goes and causes Usyk problems. I really like Dillian Whyte, but let's have it right. He gets outclassed by Usyk, and that would be terrible matchmaking, throwing him in there at this age, this early, against one of the all-time greats. I think that's ridiculous. And he's not earned it. He's not fought any big names. Even if he fights Dillian Whyte, that's still not a top 10 fighter, not even a top 15 fighter, maybe top 20. If Usyk has to fight, which I don't want him to do, but if he is going to fight, the fight I would most like to see him in is this next one. Jaya Pataya. Jaya Pataya is leagues above the cruiserweight division, just like Usyk was. I feel so bad for Marius Breeders, because Marius Breeders fought on an era with Oleksandr Usyk, the greatest cruiserweight there has ever been. And when he stepped up to heavyweight, you then had Jaya Pataya, who then seems to be the reincarnation of Usyk at cruiserweight, but with a bit more power. Without that, he would have dominated the cruiserweight division. Just so happens that's the way it is. The speed and the style and the power of Jaya Pataya, I do think troubles Usyk. Would I pick Usyk to beat Jaya Pataya? Absolutely. Do I think Pataya can beat Usyk? Yes. And that's the thing. I think Usyk beats all the heavyweights. I also think he beats Jai, but I do think Jai, with the power, the speed, the southpaw, the ability, would cause him more issues than anyone else. In boxing, Usyk's hardest fight is Jaya Pataya. In the heavyweight division, Usyk's hardest fight is Ajit Caballero. So I would like to see one of those. But most sort of top of that list is Jaya Pataya. Other than that, his only other option, in my opinion, is to retire. You've done it all, nothing left to prove. Don't let that loss creep up on you. Don't let that 0 slip away. Retire undefeated, and that will do more for your legacy now than beating anyone else will do. That's my opinions, people. Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, a comment, subscribe. You know how that stuff works, people. Peace.